And we're back on Rabid Noise on RABID Radio. That was Face Everything and Rise from Papa Roaches. Is on the show now to talk about their long overdue and much anticipated Australian tour is guitarist Jerry Horton. Great to have you on the show tonight, man. What's up?
What's up? It's going good, man. We're on tour in the States, and we can't wait to come back to Australia.
It's been a while since we've seen you guys down here, you know, and I know so many people that are so excited to see you guys at Soundwave, you know, and yeah, you've got to be pumped to come back. When was the last time you toured here? It was 2002?
Shamefully, yes, 2002 with the Chili Peppers. And our label even made us cut the tour short so that we could go record a song for a movie soundtrack, which we thought was pretty much the dumbest thing ever. You know, stop a tour with our, you know, teenage idols and go and work with somebody that we didn't know and leave, you know, this just the beautiful country of Australia. And we had a really, really great experience there at that time, and we've always talked about it but never been able to really make it work as far as timing goes. You know, a couple of years ago we finally said enough is enough, and we got to do something to get back to Australia. And they finally came back with Soundwave, and we said, hell yes.
That's awesome, man. Because, yeah, every year, I know a bunch of people who always go, oh, Papa Roach. So now it's finally happening. And, yeah, it's going to be so much fun, man. Well, since it has been a while since you have toured here, can we expect a good mix of your material from over the years to catch us up?
Absolutely. I'm not sure, to be honest, how long of a set we have, but we'll definitely do a pretty even mix of the hits and the fan favorites. And, you know, it's guaranteed to be a high-energy show. So if there's anybody out there that hasn't seen us, start training now, because we're mental on stage, and we expect that from the crowd as well. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, man, it is going to be pretty fun, man, down there in the pit. You know, because you guys are well known for your stage show. You know, notorious for getting up there and putting on an amazing show. So that's awesome, man. Well, you've toured the world so many times and played festivals with, you know, some legendary bands. Well, you know, it's something that, you know, you've probably gotten used to. Has there ever been a gig that was just so big that, you know, the nerves really hit you?
The biggest show we ever played was Polish Woodstock, and oddly enough, we were the only American band on the show, and we were headlining the show, and it was 370,000 people. We didn't even know how many people were going to be there just before we went on stage. We kind of stepped out and saw this sea of people, and were completely taken by surprise. And you can actually see it on YouTube if you search Papa Roach Polish Woodstock, and it's, you know, that's one of those shows that we'll never forget.
That must have been amazing, man. Just, you know, just walking out on stage and seeing that many people, you just would have wanted to sit down for a minute. That would have been just mind-blowing.
It was mind-blowing, and, you know, it had been a long time since my knees got a little wobbly, and then once I kind of got over that, you know, we became completely energized, and it was just legendary in the story of Papa Roach.
That's awesome. Well, you know, you've recently released your awesome 8th studio album, Face Everything and Rise, also known as Fear.
Oh, thank you.
What would you say your own biggest fear is?
I think it would probably be public speaking by myself. Like, I've talked to other people about it before, and they always say, well, that's kind of funny, you know, considering what you do. But it's completely different than what I do. You know, when we all go up on stage, we know what we're going to do. We know, you know, we have cues off of each other and all that. Being alone, you know, naked, as they say, and in front of a crowd of people is something that I don't do very well with. So, I will have to work on overcoming that, but that's it.
It is a big one though, man. Like I've done it many times, like, as a singer in a band myself, so I can get up there in a room full of people when I know I've got the boys behind me, but put the spotlight on. It's not very fun trying to talk to a room full of people sometimes. But, I guess, what's that old thing they say, pretend everybody's in their underwear? I don't think that works.
Yeah.
Well, man, after being in the game for so many years, what do you do to keep things interesting and challenging for yourselves when it comes to, the writing and recording process? What do you, when you go into the studio, do you try and mix things up a little bit for yourself, with guitar tones or something, just to keep things fresh? And
funny you mentioned that, because as far as challenges go, this time we had a fairly big challenge that we didn't have any material going into the studio, so we had to basically start from scratch. We had one chorus, but that was it, and there was a lot of, on my part, there was a lot of uncertainty. Tobin, our bass player, who's a lot more improvisational, he was completely confident and was ready for the challenge, but Jacoby and I both kind of like to go into something prepared. So, we were a little nervous going into it, but once we had adapted to our producer's workflow and the environment and all that, it was all, we finished the first song. It took about a week, and then once we got that down, smooth sailing from there. So it was definitely a challenge, and to keep things different, we like to, as you, I'm sure, heard, we're putting electronic elements into the music. Mm-hmm. Just to keep things a little more separated and distinct. We just bring new influences in all the time, and that's kind of just been our natural evolution and progression, just because we don't feel like we're the band that can do the same thing over and over again and get away with it. Really, there's one band that I can think of that can do that, and that's AC/DC.
Yeah. I think they're the only one, really. They can release the same album so many times, but, it somehow ends up being different.
But you still love it,
That's it, man. That's it. Every album, you just get it, and you're like, yeah, it's AC/DC. You know what you're getting, so, but I think you guys have done a really good job with the new album. It's, especially under those circumstances, that'd be so much pressure going in and doing that, and, not knowing what direction it was going to go. It's come out great, man. And, I think a lot of people,
thank you.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that are going to just absolutely love it by the time Soundwave comes out, and they'll be singing along.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we found that pressure is good for us because, the last record, The Connection, we did it in our own studio, and we wanted to take our time. We wanted to make sure everything was right. But that whole process took like 6 months, and we didn't have that. We didn't have that luxury of time, and we still came out with something that we're really proud of. So we've learned that pressure is a good thing for us.
And it's something you'll be. Was that a process you'll be looking at doing for the next one?
We're talking with the Churkos about doing another record. We are hoping to be able to do it in Sacramento, which is our home studio, just because Vegas it's a pretty harsh environment especially for Jacoby. So, we're kind of up in the air on that, but we would like to work with them again for the next record.
I definitely can't wait to hear that. Well, you're going to be down here, as we were saying, next month as part of the Soundwave Festival tour, alongside, some other amazing bands like Faith No More and Soundgarden and Slipknot. Are there any bands on the lineup that, you've been keen to check out, or would maybe recommend your fans to see when they're not watching your set?
Well, I'm just looking forward to Soundgarden and Faith No More. It's been probably 20 years since I've seen Soundgarden. And Faith No More, we did a couple of festivals with them, a few years ago, but I love the single that they just put out, and we've been huge fans of them, huge fans ever since, the real thing. So, yeah, we're definitely excited about that. And we're actually playing with them on the same day in New Zealand, so that's like super big for us, because I don't actually think that we're playing on the same day as Faith No More on any of the Soundwave shows. So, anyway.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. But yeah, I love that single too. It's just a shame I can't play it on the radio because of the title. Man, I love Faith No More, so it's going to be so good. 2 days. I'm going to be wrecked on Monday. I don't know what to do. I'll just crawl to work. Well, we're going to go to the track Between Angels and Insects now, which was the first Papa Roach song I heard many years ago and still love to this day. Thanks for hanging with us tonight, Jerry, and we'll see you shredded up at Soundwave next month.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I can't wait.